Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Friday the 21st of February. On this educational video, there's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended doing this. It's only for educational purpose and show you how you can use the technical analysis to your trading and investing. And today we'll start with Google C share or Alphabet C share. Key support here at 183.30, dancing around just above it, and the lower part of the cloud we have the 100 moving average coming up, giving some support. We have the RSI still in a positive sentiment, hasn't closed below 40 threshold, but if it does, and if Google closes below 183.30, well, then we could see a selling pressure, at least to close the gap down to 178, where there will then be the 200 moving average support. A close below that, then it can really spell trouble. Let's see if it bounces from here and starts moving back above the cloud and back above the 55 moving average and the 192 level. Well, then it could resume uptrend. On the overall US indices yesterday, we had a little bit of a down day, but still the bullish trend is intact. However, now there's some divergence building up. You can see that the RSI values are declining compared to over here. So a little bit weakness coming in the markets. And Nasdaq 100, same picture really. Little bit, let's see, yeah, no, there's no divergence there at the moment, so but it is a little bit weak in this uptrend, and it is still an uptrend as long as we stay about 21,454. On the other hand, we had Dow Jones that really was weak yesterday, got sold off by 1%, and it hasn't really followed up with the new all-time high here. However, still positive sentiment on the RSI, but it dipped yesterday below the 50 median here, and if we could see Dow sliding lower in the coming days. Maybe it's the banks, I haven't checked, that is doing this pressure here. So quite a little bit of weak, and we have a correction with lower lows here and lower highs, and lower lows again. So a little bit weak on the Dow Jones. I will wait a little bit to go into that one. Hang Seng in Hong Kong, Hang Seng index is pushing above previous peak here back in October, above 23,242, and I think we need to look at the weekly chart to see what's actually going on. You see it's actually broken bullish. There were some signs about it. We are still in a bullish sentiment, a positive sentiment, bullish trend, and I think we'll see a push about 24,000 up to just above or around 25,000 here on Hang Seng in the coming weeks. Really strong move out there. On the European markets, we have a correction phase going on. The Eurostoxx 50 could dip down to the 38.2 retracement here at 5,400, testing the rising trend line. Could dip lower though, so be careful there. If it takes out the peak, well, then it will resume uptrend. Here on the weekly, on the EU50 CFD and future, it could dip down to the 5,374, but still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating we could see higher levels after a correction. The DAX index broken below the support here into this gap area, and closed yesterday just around the 32 retracement. And could bounce from there. Still positive sentiment on the RSI. Let's see here this morning. It's opening more or less unchanged, just above the 38.2 retracement, 22,288. We could dip down, and if it takes it out, well, then it could be a push down to 22,000. Euro dollar. Let's just adjust this. Euro dollar. Key resistance here at 105.35. Where we have the 100 moving average coming down. If it's being rejected, then it could slide back to and below 104. If we are breaking above, well, the next level is around 106 and a bit, and possibly also higher, but there will be some resistance in that area. Let's just remove this one. We have sterling dollar above the 100 moving average, above the cloud, above resistance. There's potential up to around the level here, which is around 127, 87, 20, 128 and a change. There will be some strong resistance up in this region here. Positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence indicated. We could see it up there, and that could also mean that if that situation plays out, that euro sterling will drop lower and take out 82, 60, 65 support here. It's not a given though, but we have negative sentiment on the RSI, so we could see a dip down to 82 and a quarter. Dollar yen sold off yesterday, has bounced this morning, but we are in a bearish trend. There is now some divergence, as you can see here. The RSI values are moving a little bit higher, where the market moves lower, so that indicates we could see some trend exhaustion. Still, there is a risk down to 148.60 level and possibly lower, because we are in a downtrend, but it is weakening. So let's see the next couple of days. What I will do, just in case, if I say, okay, if I want to play the bounce, which I don't, but we could bounce up to 151.39, possibly up to the 61.8 retracement and 152.70. On the euro yen coming up here, also strong bounce. There's been strong bounces in all yen pairs, and we have seen the same here with euro yen. Also bounced. I think it could bounce up to around 159. Still a bearish trend and negative sentiment, and no divergence here because the lows here were not lower than here. So there's no divergence indicating we could see lower levels in the future after a bounce. The also yen bounced from the 61.8 and 95.43, but still also bearish trend and negative sentiment, no divergence indicating we are likely to push lower. Sterling yen also bounced from the 61.8, almost dipped down to the 78.86. I think we also see the bearish trend resuming fairly shortly. It really needs to get back above 193 and a bit to demolish this bearish picture. Aussie dollar has bounced off the support here at 63.30. Testing the upper part of the cloud and the 100 moving average. I think we'll see a test of 64 and a quarter, possibly up to 64.80, 65 and a bit, maybe even up to 65 and a half, where we have the 200 moving average coming down, and there's some resistance. If it slides back below the 63.30, well, then downtrend could resume. Dollar Canada still a key support here with the at 141.19 area, and the 100 moving average and the lower part of cloud. So let's see if it can bounce here the next couple of days. However, negative sentiment on the RSI indicates we could see a push lower, but if it can crawl back above 140, 142.65, then uptrend could resume, and we haven't broken below the cloud, so maybe there's a little bit of support there. The dollar Canada, which we talked about the past few days, sterling Canada, that has bounced and could get up to the 180. We are almost there. If it can stay up here throughout the day, then the RSI is about to close above 60 threshold, which will indicate possibly higher push, maybe up to 181 level. If it can't and starts sliding lower here towards the end of the weekend, then it could slide back lower towards and below 179 and 178. Euro Swiss still in this wide range, and I'm not going to say anything until it changes between 93.30 and 95.20. Dollar Swiss, on the other hand, key support 89.65. If it breaks, then we're looking at 89 level, and the 100 moving average coming up there. If it can bounce back above the cloud and the rising trend line, then it could resume uptrend. But let's see before then. It's not a given, any of them. The dollar index, on the other hand, broke below and closed below 106.42 support, and testing the 100 moving average. We are negative sentiment. The bearish trend to continue and could drop down to 105.35 level, where there's some support, but there's the 200 moving average is just below 105, so it's not unlikely we actually break below there. It's not the strongest support, to be honest, but there's some support. To establish a bullish trend, it really needs to at least get back above the peak there at 107.28. That will put it into neutral position, but for now it looks it is bearish. Gold seems to be stalling, maybe. Let's see. We have the RSI values declining as the market moved higher. So we actually do now have confirmed divergence. You can see the RSI values declining. The rising trend line is currently testing, or it's testing the rising trend line. If it can't take out the peak from yesterday, it was new all-time high, also new all-time high close. It is eyeing 3,000, but it looks stalling, like it's stalling a little bit. So I wouldn't go long at the moment if it was me. It's not a advice whatsoever, but still I wouldn't do that. Could still see a correction. If it starts pushing lower here on the RSI also, key will be what will happen at 60 threshold. So be cautious a little bit, I would say, on gold. On silver, it is in a bullish trend. It's not that convincing, but it's in a bullish trend and could push higher towards 34, but also stalling a little bit here. So RSI not convincing. I would be cautious there too. Copper in a correction phase, could still dip lower to 450, maybe 446, maybe even 443, which is the 61.8 retracement. But if it starts pushing above the 465, 466, then I think we'll see uptrend resuming, and I still believe that medium term we will push higher. Moving on to energy and crude oil here with WTI still in this area here between $70. I will actually adjust this one to say, okay, we are around $70. That is the level, seems to be the level. 75 and a bit is the resistance. That's the range that needs to break out. Brent crude oil 74.10, $74 I would say here at the 786 retracement, and to the upside 77.36 area, and the 200 moving average could be a bit of a resistance for it. We are in a negative sentiment indicating we could see a push lower, but I want confirmation below 74, and then we're looking at 72 or 70 level. Dutch TTF gas or European gas also, I think we'll see a bounce here from the 786 retracement. It seems like find some good bits here, and if it can start pushing higher and above, back above the trend line, then it is likely to resume uptrend. Otherwise, if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we could see a push lower to 73, maybe even lower. The US Henry Hub gas pushing higher. I think it would push higher here in the coming days and weeks towards $5. Will it get to $5 is debatable, but there is potential up to that area at least. US 10-year Treasury yields back below 450, sorry. Key support at 440, but then we have the moving average coming up, and for now we are still in the cloud, hasn't closed below the cloud, and the cloud level is just about, where is it just about? It is just about 446. So look out for that level. However, we are in a negative sentiment on the RSI, indicating we could see another push lower, and it needs to get back above 465 to really establish a bullish trend. I'm still bullish on US 10-year yields medium term, but there is still some volatility and range trading at the moment. The 2-year also hovering around the 430, was above, then back below, above, then back below. So that it seems to be the range it needs to break out of. Really needs to get back above and stay above 430. But we are above the cloud still, and positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels. We also can see that the 100 moving average is pushing higher there. That will support the medium-term bullish trend. On the sorry about that. On the European 10-year here, we have a little bit of setback after reaching just above 255, 257 to be exact. Little bit of a setback, not at that big a surprise. I still think it will push higher here in the coming weeks, and if it takes out 260, well, then we're looking at 265 plus. The UK slowly crawling higher, and I think we'll see a move up to the 61.8 retracement here at 471. And finally on Bitcoin, still caught in this triangle-like pattern here, but has got a couple of good days testing the 55 moving average. If it can break above the falling trend line, then we could see a push to previous peaks. If it can't, then we can test the lower rising trend line once again, and that is the levels I want to look out for. The pattern I'm looking out for, still support here around 90,000. Ethereum hovering around 78, just below 7,800. Spiked above here the other day, so it's also a bit range bound here between 2,600 and 2,900. Trying to maybe establish a solid base here, but for now it is a bit indecisive. All right, that's all for today, and have a nice day and nice weekend. Talk to you again Monday.